So, is coffee affecting the way you look and feel over time? Today, we're gonna look at Dr. Berg telling us the real reason you should drink coffee. First of all, let me tell you, I have nothing against Dr. Eric Berg. I think what he promotes online is generally good advice, and also he helps a lot of people, which I think is great. But that being said, it doesn't mean I have to agree with everything he says, and I'm going to call it as it is where I see fit. Let's get into it.
So today I'm going to talk about some of the other benefits of coffee that go beyond just waking up in the morning. In other words, I'm going to give you some really important reasons to drink coffee. That being said,
I don't think you should drink coffee.
recommending coffee if it gives you anxiety, it increases your heart rate, and if it prevents you from sleeping. And I'm not recommending large amounts of coffee, just 1 cup a day.
I wouldn't recommend any coffee.
The human guinea pig for drinking way too much coffee. In college, I drank pots of coffee, and it really burned out my adrenals because too much coffee can increase cortisol and adrenaline.
That is absolutely true. Coffee is actually a stressor because it is a toxic, poisonous liquid that comes from seeds. Remember, seeds are the most toxic part of the plant, so why the fuck would we drink liquid from seeds? It's stupid. Also, your body will increase metabolism and secrete adrenals in order to fight the toxin that you just ingested, essentially accelerating aging. So if you care about your appearance and looking healthy as you age, it's a terrible idea.
So why am I recommending coffee in the first place? Well, there's some different chemicals in the coffee itself, as well as this one chemical called caffeine. And the benefits of coffee come from both caffeine and these other chemicals. And just so you know, caffeine is a phytochemical, okay? It comes from plants. It's actually an insecticide, and it's in 30 plants. But the question is, how can an insecticide be good for us? Well, sometimes a little poison or a little stress can actually create benefits in our body.
That is a delicate topic. I think this claim is quite wild, and I don't think I always agree with it. Let's give the benefit of the doubt. If that was the case, that a little bit of stress can help you stimulate a desired outcome in the body, it would be in very rare and specific cases that you'd want to do that. Certainly not on a daily basis like most people do.
So what is coffee? Really, it's just a fermented coffee bean. That means that they're interacting with a microbe to enhance something about that food. I want to talk about these other benefits other than the one that most people know. Caffeine inhibits a certain compound called adenosine. That keeps us awake. It normally helps us go to sleep. It makes us tired. Well, by inhibiting that chemical, caffeine will wake you up. But let's get into some of the other things that...
There you go. There's no special thing about caffeine. It does not give you energy. It actually inhibits your brain from getting the tired signal, essentially the fatigue signal.
Coffee can do for you. It can give you mental acuity. It can help you focus. It can actually help you actually even learn a little bit better. It also speeds up the rate of metabolism. It also helps your blood sugars, especially if you add some MCT oil or butter to the coffee to make it bulletproof coffee. There's some data that shows that it can decrease your risk of getting dementia and decrease certain symptoms related to Parkinson's disease.
Well, these are pretty wild claims. I haven't looked into the studies, but I think these might be associative studies. And let's face it, guys. I do not believe that people get dementia or Parkinson from a lack of coffee. Let's get that straight.
And even Alzheimer's. It has certain properties that can decrease your risk of getting gallstones, and that's because it increases the production of bile and the flow of bile. It also has properties to help prevent a kidney stone. There's data to show that it has anti-cancer properties, which is interesting. And no, I don't think just drinking more coffee is going to get rid of your cancer.
In my opinion, it definitely won't. That's the stupidest shit ever. I feel like whatever the benefits of coffees are just coping mechanism to counteract the shit things you were doing in your life that you should have not been doing in the first place. If you fix your health and diet, you won't need coffee. Coffee is just basically a cheat code for when you're living a shit life because you don't have no energy. Fix your health, you won't need coffee.
It has anti-inflammatory properties, hepatoprotection properties. That's basically protection against your liver. There's certain things in coffee like polyphenols that help feed your microbiome. There's a condition called postural hypotension. Basically, you stand up and your blood pressure drops, right? You feel dizzy. Coffee can help that. If I drink too much coffee, more than 1 cup, and later in the day, I won't be able to sleep that well. So,
No shit. Caffeine has a very long half-life. Let's say you drink 200 milligrams of caffeine. 4 or 5 hours later, you will still have half the amount, 100 milligrams. 4 hours later, you'll have 50 milligrams. 4 hours later, you'll have 25 milligrams, so on and so forth. So even if you manage to sleep, by the time you go to bed, your body is still busy metabolizing caffeine, which means that whilst the body has to deal with that toxins, it cannot do its normal detoxification, its normal metabolic processes of healing. The body is always sacrificing. It cannot always multitask. When it's busy doing something, it might not be able to do other things that are important.
what I do is I have the 1 cup of coffee. Do I put cream in it? Yes, I do. Do I put sugar in it? No, I don't. And I don't use any sweeteners.
Do you know why people put cream and sugar in coffee? Because it tastes like shit. Even if people say, oh, I love black coffee, so it doesn't concern me. Well, think about it. The first time you tried coffee, it's not like you went, oh, this tastes fucking delicious. It's bitter. Bitter taste on your tongue, the bitter taste receptors on your tongue is literally there to tell you that something is toxic in nature and that you shouldn't eat it. The more bitter, the more toxic. Bitter are what I call human acquired tastes. It's like beer. The first time I drank a beer when I was like 16, I wasn't going like, oh my God, this is delicious. No, it tastes like shit. I think I was even blocking my nose. It's the same thing with coffee. It doesn't taste good. It's only by adding the sugar and the cream that it makes it tolerable. And then over time, your palate might get used to the taste or the burn or the bitterness or whatever, but it is not a natural, intuitive taste that humans normally like.
Even alternative sugar alcohols in my coffee. Coffee also helps apparently with exercise performance, increasing cardiac output and delaying soreness in your muscles.
That's not necessarily a good thing.
Because apparently the neurotransmitters that it activates helps to vasodilate your lungs. Also, coffee can help decrease the symptoms of being at a high altitude. So some people have problems with that. Well, coffee can help that. And I think that has to do with the sympathetic nervous system activation more than anything else, which is really the strength of how you can adapt to stress. Coffee can increase mitochondrial biogenesis. Now, what is that? It basically increases the number of mitochondria in your body. Coffee also has the ability to increase stomach acid to help you digest. Now, there's some other research that I looked at that talked about if you combine certain things with coffee, there's an enhanced effect. So, for example, if you combine alcohol with coffee, apparently you'll have less jitters, okay? You'll feel...
What? Yeah, counteracting the effect of a drug by another drug. Outstanding.
less jittery. If you smoke or take tobacco with coffee, apparently the nicotine helps clear out the caffeine a little faster. If you take certain medications for a headache or pain,
it's so dumb.
the caffeine can help enhance the benefits. So this is why anytime I drink coffee, I also smoke a cigarette, take a little shot of whiskey, and take my pain medication. And of course, I hope you understand now my dry sense of humor. I am completely being sarcastic. And even birth control pills, which personally I do not take, can extend the half-life of caffeine, which means that the caffeine will stay in your body longer if you're taking birth control pills.
He's a little joker. You almost got me there, Dr. Berg. Fuck me.
Now, for those of you that decided that you're going to start drinking coffee, you probably need to know how to neutralize the side effects of coffee. And for that, I put this video up right here.
How about not drinking it? That's so smart. Think about it. If you have to rely on a drug every day in order to kickstart your metabolic cascade, it is just not good and not healthy, and it will affect you long term for sure. Funnily enough, if you look at the history of coffee, coffee came around the Industrial Revolution. When people started working very long days and operating heavy machinery, apparently the beverage of choice before coffee was mostly alcohol. So you would have people on the job, drunk as fuck, operating heavy machinery, which clearly is not safe. So when coffee arrived, it was the perfect solution because it gave people energy, focus, and they could work longer and harder without risking injury whilst operating machinery. It is literally the slave drug. It is literally the drugs to make people go to work and do jobs they don't want to do for long, painful, and difficult days. So this is why I think you should never drink it. It is literally slave piss. Okay, so in my practice, I have helped many clients quit coffee for good. So here's what you're gonna do. The first thing you need to focus on is your mindset. If you don't have the will and desire in your mind, it will never happen. The second thing is start slow. A few people can stop cold turkey, but for most people, it's gonna be a slow process. The first thing I'd like to do is, how can I make my coffee less damaging? Paul Chek has shown by adding a little bit of butter in the coffee will actually emulsify. The fat will give some substantial nutrition. Also, the fat would actually delay the absorption of caffeine into your bloodstream, which will give you a more even energy spike. The second phase I recommend people of doing is replacing the coffee by something else. Often with addiction, the ritual is just as important as the substance itself. You could maybe temporarily switch to a cup of tea. Yes, tea is still somewhat toxic, but it has less caffeine than coffee, and the caffeine is bound to another compound, which makes it release slower into your bloodstream. The third layer, which will be a little bit less damaging, would be herbal teas. Again, depending on the plant or substance you will infuse, they will be more or less toxic. They will be caffeine-free, so it won't affect your sleep as much. And the last step would be to stop completely, like I have many years ago. And I get it. I do enjoy the feeling of a warm cup of something, especially when it's winter in Canada. What do I drink instead? I still rarely will have maybe a cup of herbal tea, which doesn't seem to affect me too much. Or if you want to go full carnivore mode, you can drink a nice cup of chicken broth or beef broth with a bit of grass-fed butter in it. It is delicious, it is not as harmful for you, and it's just very comforting. So that being said, guys, I do encourage you to always question what people are saying. And this is why I will always tell you, do not believe a single thing that I say. Go try it for yourself and you'll find out the truth. And please tell me in the comment, guys, did any of you manage to successfully quit coffee? And what was your strategy to do so? I would love to hear about it. Also, if you like this kind of video, make sure to like and subscribe. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.